Okay, I'd like y'all to do something for me if you could. I'd like y'all to just give me a slap. Just slap me hard across the face whenever I start paying attention to hot button, trending political issues. Just slap me hard. In fact, don't even slap me. Just like to the moon. One of these days, Alice to the moon. Right? Was it Alice? I can't remember what her name was. But whoever it was that the honeymooners guy was the wife that he was threatening to abuse. Do that to me. Only really do it. I mean, smack me around, because it's just so aggravating. It's so aggravating to pay any kind of attention to, and yet I keep. It's like every time I try to get out, they keep pulling me back in. They keep pulling me back in. And I don't know what it is. It's not because it's particularly of interest to me, although it reflects on certain things that are of interest to me. Cultural issues, for example, which I'm not loath to talk about. They're certainly involved. But when we're just talking politics, it's so aggravating. There's no upside. There's no upside to it, because even when something good happens, then you've got all these negative Nellies suddenly whispering things in your ear like, yeah, well, So what do I mean by this? What am I talking about? What I'm referring to is the news that you might have heard of, which is that apparently the Supreme Court plans to overrule Roe versus Wade. Now, this is not a final decision yet, and it's something that we shouldn't even know about. But because of a leak, it was the draft of the decision was released, and so somebody on the staff of the Supreme Court released this draft, which showed that, at least at this stage anyway, it's not a final decision officially yet, but that seemingly what the decision that they're about to come to when they pronounce on this case in June next month is that Roe v. Wade will be overturned. All right, let's put aside all the stuff with the leak right now and all the ridiculousness surrounding the leak. I guess that's par for the course. You get it. You get why they would do it. It's dirty politics, yes. But what else do you expect? What bothers me is, here we're getting good news, okay? Seemingly good news. And yet, all that I hear, I shouldn't say all that I hear, but what I keep hearing, what I hear and then I fixate upon, because you always fixate, that's the thing with these transitory kinds of stories. You always fixate on what could go wrong, right? And it becomes this obsessive. It's like this invitation to become OCD, and some people just seem to want to make everything that's positive to convert it into something that's negative. Okay, so you have people saying that, like I heard somebody say that they released the Supreme Court decision just to distract from the Pfizer released documents showing more malfeasance on their part with regard to the Baj. Anytime, generally, when I hear somebody say, "Oh, this story came out just to knock this story out of the news," I don't know. That's like, how. I know there are times when that is done. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I know that certain stories get intentionally buried. Like they release them at what would it be, Friday night, Saturday night, where it's going to get the least amount of coverage. I get how that happens. But I can't stand this sort of calculus that people are, that news pundits or would-be news pundits, on the internet always get in their minds that, oh well, they're just floating, they're just pushing this story out there so that we don't pay attention to that story over here. The Johnny Depp trial is just distracting us from, I don't know, from something else that we should be paying attention to. I heard them say it was about the Ghislaine Maxwell trial, which did get a ton less press coverage, but the Ghislaine Maxwell trial is over. It happened. It's done. So I don't know how it's distracting us from that, but that's what some people out there are saying. And then you have people saying, oh, well, this is it. This is what the Democrats want. They want this decision to get out there because this is going to fire up their base, and now the Republicans are not going to get the victory that they were expecting to get in October. Well, look, in November of this year during the midterms. Well, look, this case was always they were going to pronounce upon it in June. Okay, so this whole idea of, well, we just say goodbye to the Republicans taking back the Senate now because of this story, because of Roe v. Wade being overturned, is going to fire up the left-wing base, and that now this is the issue that everybody's going to be talking about. And they were going to make a decision on this case in June. Do you realize that? So it was inevitable that it was going to happen. Now, I guess then the question comes down to, are you saying that you would want them not to overturn Roe v. Wade because that you'd rather have a Republican victory than have abortion be significantly reduced in the United States, to have abortion no longer be somehow a right that people have to kill their children. That's a right that was discovered, that was somehow through some penumbra or something discovered in the Constitution. There's nothing in the Constitution about abortion. The idea that abortion should be legal because see the Constitution. Well, there's nothing in the Constitution about abortion one way or the other. So Roe v. Wade was always bogus. It was just what the elite reasoning was back in the early 70s. It was the elite consensus in the early 70s. Sorry, that we should have abortion be legal everywhere. There's nothing constitutional about it at all, even though they tried to justify it in constitutional ways. That they're always doing things like that. They are, these are not men and women of integrity who rule over us, whether in the courts or elsewhere. Okay, so it's a good thing that, if it's really happening, it's a good thing that Roe v. Wade is being overturned. But some people but some people still want to say, oh well, it's just going to make the Democrats stronger. What do you want? Do you want Roe v. Wade to be upheld? Maybe. If you do, if you're somebody who's pro-abortion, then this isn't really my address isn't really meant for you. But if you're against abortion, as I would presume most who watch this channel are, then you should be thinking this is a good thing. Midterms be damned. This is good. This is a positive change, one that I never thought I would see in my lifetime. But somehow instead it's like, oh boy, what about the midterms now? You see what I mean? And then there's this. This is also something that I heard. I've heard from a couple of people the whisperings that, well, what the real reason for this for Roe v. Wade being overturned is because they want to make vaccine mandates mandatory. They want to get rid of the part of the law that would get in the way of the vax mandates, the Boj mandates. Sorry. I think my slang has been popularized enough that everybody knows what I mean when I say Boj anyway, so might as well just come out with it. So the reasoning goes now, well, people were making the claim of bodily autonomy. They were making the claim of my body, my choice. But now they're going to take away, they're going to say abortion's not legal anymore. And people who support abortion always say my body, my choice. And so therefore that's going to take away the justification for why people should have a choice about the vax mandates. I mean, that doesn't make any. I mean, I guess you can use sophistry to fuse one argument with another and make one thing equivalent to another when they aren't equivalent. And that's basically what a lot of lawyers do, what a lot of judges do. But I don't understand how I don't see this happening. Now, if I'm wrong, I'll get on here and I'll admit that I was wrong. I'll say, yeah, it looks like the Roe v. Wade overturning was just an excuse so that they could make it so that we all have to get the Boj, and we can't possibly object to the Boj. But I really don't think that's going to happen because again, it's so tendinous. Is that the right way you say that word? I'm sure somebody will correct me. Y'all all love correcting me. It's just sophistical to make that claim because there's the people who see abortion as the intentional taking of an innocent human life, which it is. They make the point that you are violating a person's body when you commit abortion. You're violating an unborn child's body by killing that unborn child, right? So it's not going against the notion of bodily autonomy, okay? Because properly opposing abortion and supporting life, supporting the protection of life in the womb, that's supporting bodily autonomy, just like supporting, just like saying that people shouldn't be murdered or harmed outside of the womb. They shouldn't have their bodies harmed or maimed or killed. Hence the law against murder, hence the law against assault, and so forth. So I really, even though somebody, might sophistically say, now I got all you anti-vaxxers in a bind now because, you said bodily autonomy, you said my body, my choice, but guess what? Roe v. Wade is overturned, so you can't say that anymore. You have no bodily autonomy under the law anymore. It's just silly. It's ridiculous. But also just the kind of overwrought response of so many lefties is just, I mean, who make abortion, just like the sine qua non of everything, and so they think that now we're going to be, this is the Handmaid's Tale, and we're living in the Republic of Gilead, and we're going to be, forcing fertile women into wearing these red outfits, and then, forcing them to take part in these weird sexual ceremonies with powerful men and their wives, like in the Handmaid's Tale. Were we living in the lefties? If any of you are watching this, was it the Handmaid's Tale in America in 1972? Roe v. Wade was passed in 1973, January of 73, I believe. Was it in say October of 1972? Was America just like the Handmaid's Tale? Is that what America was before abortion became a constitutional right, according to extremely specious and I would argue highly unconstitutional reasoning? You really going to say that 1970, 1971, 1972, it was basically the Handmaid's Tale back then? It was basically like stepping into the Republic of Gilead. I guess I should expect this from the left, of course, and I should devote more of my frustration towards allies on the right, just because we're sort of, I would think we'd be sort of more on the same page. But really, can you just can you can the hyperbole just for a second? It's like we've been living under nonstop hyperbole. Y'all on the left have been hyperbolizing for the last 5 or 6 years, and it's grown incredibly tiresome. You see half of the country as evil, all right? You see half of the country who don't vote the way you want them to vote, who don't believe the things you want them to believe, not as fellow citizens that you have to hash things out with and get along with, and who might be good people, but you just disagree on certain things. Y'all have taken this sharp turn towards seeing half of the nation as absolutely criminal, psychopathic reprobate, and that is not. This decision, if it truly is the decision of the Supreme Court, it's going to send you into another tizzy, and it's going to make you absolutely unbearable to have to deal with. We're going to have to see, just like. I'm going to have to see the like actors and comedians and whatever, people who before could just be funny. Now they're going to have to just get all on their soapbox and be sanctimonious and be hateful, frankly, hateful against anybody who doesn't see things the same way that they do. Can y'all just stow it? Can y'all just can it? Just an earnest request. I know it won't be heard, but it would be nice. Anyway, those are my thoughts. And again, if I ever poke my head into current day politics again, just slap me hard. Give me a good smack and make me come to my senses, please. Thank you very much for watching.